Hello, so this video is designed to help you with paragraph writing and specifically to help get you thinking about writing a crisp point for each paragraph that you write. The goals of this video, will be to make it clear what the point of a paragraph is, to make it clear that location should be in the first sentence of every paragraph you write, to get you to think about the context or the purpose of the paragraph you're writing. Is it a larger piece of writing or is it a standalone paragraph where you're making a claim or answering a question? And lastly, it's to help, if you are answering a question, it's to help give you tools to dissect a question to make sure that your point is on point. So the definition of point is really the key idea being expressed in a paragraph. It'd be fair to call the main idea of your paragraph and the point of your paragraph synonyms. So they're essentially the same thing. Qualities that it should have as a writer are a little different than it should have as a reader. So for example, if you're looking for the main idea as a reader, you're not in control of that paragraph. So you have to be willing to look everywhere, the beginning, middle, end, or maybe even consider that it's implied. However, as a writer, you are in control, and your goal is to organize your writing so the reader can pick up on your points as cleanly and as easily as possible. The best way to do that is to make the first sentence of your paragraphs your main ideas or your points. Now, when you're writing paragraphs, it might come about in a few different ways. There's a real demarcation mark between, is your paragraph a standalone paragraph or is it supporting a larger argument? If it is supporting a larger argument, most of the paragraphs you write will be in service to that larger argument. If it's a standalone paragraph, you'll either just be making a claim on its own, or oftentimes you'll be asked a question and you're expected to answer the question directly. We'll talk about all three coming up. If you're supporting a larger argument, I want to let you know I've had multiple college professors give me the same piece of advice. They say that if you hand me an essay, I, as the professor, should be able to go through each and every paragraph and read the first sentence. Just by reading the first sentences, know exactly what your paragraph or your essay is about. The only way this is possible is if you put the main idea or the point of each paragraph in the first sentence. The reason I'm letting you know this is because, well, the strategy can help make writing simpler because you know where you put all the points, but some students sometimes worry, is it too simplistic? I'm here to let you know that this strategy isn't just like a baby strategy. It's one that can literally, you can carry with you right through getting a college degree. Here's how that could look like. Let's say your essay or the larger argument you're writing is that music classes should be funded in schools. Each of your paragraphs, the point of them, should in some way support this big idea about music in schools. So you might say that music helps the brain develop. Music is in schools is where many musicians get their start, that music classes help test scores. So now let's look what this first point might look like as a whole paragraph. One reason music should be funded in schools is that it helps develop the brain. Then you have evidence talking about brain development in music. So you can see that very first sentence talks about brain development, but the point of that first sentence is to help this larger argument about music in schools. Now, let's say it's a standalone paragraph and you're making a claim. It's pretty much the same strategy, but you're clearly stating what your paragraph will be about and make it your first sentence. Here's what's nice though, it could be about anything. You could say December is the best month, and the rest of your sentences would just be about why December is so great. 3 ways to improve your diet. This paragraph should write itself. Your next sentences should be those 3 ways. Beyonce has the most impressive voice in pop music. Talk about why your voice is so great. As long as this clear statement is the first one in your paragraph, you'll be great. Now, oftentimes, especially in school, you're asked to answer questions in paragraph form. The best advice I can give you almost seems overly simple, and it's to answer the question being asked of you. I know you might be rolling your eyes, being like, well, what other question would I be answering? But I can tell you the single biggest mistake I see students make is that they simply don't answer the question. They either read it really fast and maybe start in the right place, then veer off into a different direction, or again, they'll read it fast, so they'll only answer half of it and maybe forget some important parts. So let's go through some examples. Here's a strategy to help you answer the question properly. First is underline the nouns. Second is circle the verbs. The purpose of this is really to slow you down, to get you looking at the language of the question so you feel comfortable knowing exactly what's being asked of you. The next step is for you to look up any words you don't know the meaning of. Then lastly, what you're looking to do is to paraphrase what the answer should look like. This step can feel redundant, but if you can express the shape that the answer should take, then when you actually go to write an answer, you can sort of see if your answer fits what you already knew it should look like. We'll talk about that in a second. So here's an example. Describe one quality the protagonist displays. Let's first underline the nouns. We talk about quality, we talk about protagonist. If we underline the verbs, we'd have describe and display. Look up any words we don't know the meaning of. Quality could be a word that we need clarification of, and it's really just characteristics or traits. Protagonist could be another word that we'd want to look up the meaning of, and that would be sort of the main actor in a story that drives the plot. So now let's paraphrase what the answer should look like. Well, it's saying describe a quality from the protagonist. So it really should just be one quality the protagonist shows. So then your answer might be something like, let's say it was Harry Potter. One quality of Harry's is that he's courageous. If all of a sudden you read this quickly and you said, Harry's family is really brave, all of a sudden you say, wait a minute, that's not about the protagonist. It's sort of off in the wrong direction. So it's really just to slow you down and to give you something to use to double check yourself. Sometimes complex questions can be more complex, and here's a complex example. Explain the connection that exists between sleep and a student's success in school. We'll go through the same process. We have several nouns: connection, sleep, success, school. You want to circle the verbs, explain, and exist. Look up any words you don't know the meaning of, though I think you should know the meaning of these words. Then paraphrase what the answer should look like. So again, it can't just be about sleep. It can't just be about success. It should talk about, the answer should be something that connects sleep and school success. I want to show you an example of some professional writers. This was from a basketball column where they asked professional basketball writers just different questions about the 2017-2018 NBA Finals, which had the Cleveland Cavaliers. The question is, what is the most important thing for them? Look, these are all professional writers, and notice, so right off the bat, it should be about the Cavaliers, it shouldn't be about the other team, and what's the most important thing? Can the Cavs defense be more consistent? I would urge you not to use a question mark in your main idea point, but look, it's saying that the Cavs defensive consistency is most important. Their three-point shooting. LeBron, he's their best player. His fuel gauge, his energy. This is all about defense, all about three-point shooting, all about energy. So you can see these professional writers did the same thing. They directly addressed the question, they made their answer in the first sentence, and then they go on to explain it. In summary, what we're looking to do is to make sure that we make it clear that the point of a paragraph is, it's the key aspect of your paragraph, it's the main idea. Make it clear that it should be located in the first sentence of any paragraph you write. Whenever you're writing a paragraph, just understand, what is its purpose? Is it part of a larger essay, and so its purpose is to support a larger idea, or is it a standalone paragraph? Are you making a claim, or are you answering a question? If you are answering a question, really dissect the question itself to give you a clear path towards writing a clear answer. Hope that's helpful. Have a great day.